Welcome to Solent Journalism's Sports Show. Today we will be hearing from the England beach soccer team about the difficulties of playing the sport with little backing and in poor weather.
The first thing everybody says is, how can you play beach soccer in England?
Also, British beach volleyball star Phil Smith will tell us how he copes with travelling to compete and train while studying at university.
Finding motivation when you're already tired to go back and do an essay, like at the best of times, never good, but when you're in a nice country and just want to relax or sort of focus on what you're doing, it's tougher.
First, we head to Poole, where England took part in only their second training session of the year. Training can be tough, but it is enjoyed by the England players and helps the sport to grow.
I think it's brilliant because not only does it bring a lot of the beach soccer community back together, like as you can see the weather is not good, but as a squad we had such a good season last year. To get together in circumstances like this is when we are playing in big tournaments is when you remember these times, and it's really good for young players to see this, to come and be involved and also see the national team players here as well slogging it out, and you can see other people have an interest in the sport. You just got to find them and make the opportunities to find new players and get people involved.
Russia are one of the best beach soccer nations despite it snowing there most of the year. They only cope by having indoor facilities, but with none in England it poses problems for the players.
Today's an example of the difficulties we're up against. This is a lovely beach in the middle of summer, but when the wind is blowing it makes it very difficult for them to play beach soccer.
An indoor facility would improve the game in England, and Jones has hinted at a spot where they could put one.
If the FA would put some funding together, we should have an indoor facility at St George's Park, in my view, but whether that will ever happen, who knows.
Poor weather and lack of funding does affect playing beach soccer, but some wouldn't have it any other way.
What it means is it's everything really. You train every day to play beach soccer, and you want to experience as much of it as possible really. Unlike the conditions today, it's usually a wonderful experience, not just for the players but for the coaching staff, the fans, the cheerleaders on between periods of the game, and it's a whole, it can be a community experience.
It means a lot to me. You know, I've made it a big part of my life, so I'll continue to make sure that it, you know, at least I'll help try and do what I can to help it grow and get people involved and see what the sport can do.
There's nothing better than the sun shining and the music blaring and fast action beach soccer being played.
The sport has also allowed players to overcome disappointments in football.
For me, it was injury meant that I couldn't really play on the grass anymore, because being a goalkeeper, I had quite a bad elbow injury and I just couldn't dive without the elbow flaring up, and on the sand it's that much more forgiving. It meant that I can actually play and not be injured the next day.
While the game is not very popular in Britain, inspiration can be drawn from other countries around the world.
We haven't got a structure behind it. You look as well, Brazil have been doing it since 1996 and probably done it long before that. It's just, as I said before, it's a lifestyle to the Brazilian people. You see that they're playing all along the beach. It's not just beach soccer, it's foot volley, it's all different sort of sand sports, and it's their environment.
Despite the lack of funding, Bowes still has big aims going forward.
Our aim for the last couple of years has been to go from Division B, which is the league we play in at the moment, to the top division, Division A, and that would help the popularity of the sport. Last season in 2014 we was very close to getting near a World Cup, which is the ultimate goal, that we want to get England to their first ever beach soccer World Cup.
The south of England tends to have better weather, meaning beach soccer has made it its home, but Jones believes this is wrong.
We need to do more trial days, and it's something we've already discussed about. The sport is largely played on the south coast, so we don't really have players north of London who are representing the national team, and I think that's fundamentally wrong.
Switzerland are a landlocked country, but are a top side in the sport, and Jones believes England should be doing something similar and targeting those that are away from the coasts.
I live in Nottingham. We're 2 hours from the nearest beach. There'll be people in Nottingham capable of playing for both the men's and ladies beach soccer national teams, as there are people from the North East and North West.
England will host another trial day on the 10th of May in Southport as they prepare for the Euro Beach Soccer League this summer. Moving on to beach volleyball, where Smith describes the struggles he faces juggling the sport and his life. Many believe playing in hot countries is a perk of beach volleyball, but Smith feels it has its ups and downs.
I mean, you spend a lot of time waiting in airports. You get a lot of sort of hours in a hotel room with like TV in a foreign language and stuff like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that are different, or sort of not negative, but things that have just become a habit. But obviously then you look around and you are in generally nice places and in nice locations, so it's not as bad as it is.
Yet help from the government would be a big boost for Smith.
Anything's possible if we get more funding, or if things change over the next couple of years and we're able to dedicate ourselves more fully to it, then there's a potential.
Smith is also a student at Bournemouth University, and combining his studies with beach volleyball has been tough.
They were very flexible, so I had to extend my dissertation because I was away so much last summer that it was quite tough to combine doing sort of I had to write 2 of my essays when I was in hotel rooms and stuff like that.
While many dream of competing in an Olympics, Smith believes he won't get the opportunity.
Having to combine work and training, I don't have the time to put in to really be able to play at that level. However, there's another English team who are training full time and playing, so we're kind of, the Olympic qualifiers work in a Davis Cup style, so 2 teams from England sort of play with each other against 2 teams from another country, so we're sort of basically trying to help them along their way. So we're just sort of like the cannon fodder that go in and play and hopefully try and pull off an upset and help them along the way.
Although Smith has not hit the heights in the sport, he is happy to help grow beach volleyball in the country.
Sort of continue to try and develop. I mean, as the sport hopefully gets bigger in England, we can sort of try and play a bigger part and help push the sport forward. It's great having sort of media interest and stuff like that. So sort of acting as a sort of role model and help to the young kids. Like there's obviously with Leaf here as coming along, there's a lot of younger kids who are coming through the system now and starting to be on the fringes of like national teams and the international scene. So it's sort of being around to help them out. We kind of had quite a few experiences now that you can help pass on and sort of show the next generation and help them, give them a bit of a foot in the door. So it's kind of switched from me trying to really progress on with myself to kind of taking a bit of a bigger view of everything and sort of help push the sport forward a wee bit in this country.
One way in which Smith has already helped to grow the sport is through the Continental Cup competition.
At the moment we're working our way through the Continental Cup, so winning that first round was sort of big for both us as players and as a country, so it kind of starts putting us back on the map. So from that perspective, it's obviously quite a big victory for the sport because it gave us quite a lot of publicity, and obviously if we can continue to progress through the tournament and get closer to qualification, then it will help raise sort of the stature of the sport and hopefully increase funding and participation.
Having been in California and Portugal at training camps, Smith will compete in the 3rd round of the Continental Cup in Turkey in May as he helps Team GB secure a spot in the Olympics next year. For more sports news, head to our website sonantjournalism.co.uk or follow us on Twitter at Sonant Sports News.